Hey folks, hey, thanks for coming back to the Sty Shack. Excuse me. Alright, time for another Sty story. This one is titled, That's as Far as She'll Go. Alright, now if my ex-wife watches this video, she's going to want to drive on over here to my place and give me a swift kick in the back of the pants for even telling it. And she'd tell me, that just proves how crazy you really are. Well, when we lived out in Montana, where we lived in the Clark Fork River Valley. And, of course, the river ran right down the center of the valley. And that valley was typically only about a mile wide. Just from one mountain wall to the next mountain wall, and you're driving down the center, and there's a river going down the center with a bunch of dams here and there. So there were reservoirs on that river. And beautiful country, beautiful country. Well, one day, got a wild hare, said, hey, let's put together a picnic lunch and let's go someplace with a good view and just kick back and have a picnic lunch. Everybody was good with that. The ex-wife and the kids, they're just, yeah, sure, yeah, Dad, take us up somewhere and someplace really neat, you know. And I said, why don't we cross the river? There's a bridge, we'd drive across there and go through town, and we'd head up the backcountry a little bit, and then there's a road takes you all the way up to the top of what's called Smead's Bench. Right away, my ex-wife said, you could drive up that road? Because you could see it across the river. You could see the road that went up Smead's Bench. And I said, well, I'm pretty sure you can drive up it. There's a road. If it's a road, you can drive up the road. And she said, all the time we've been living here, I've never once seen a vehicle drive up that road. I said, come to think of it, I don't think I've ever seen one go up there either. But that doesn't mean they're not, because I don't watch Smead's Bench every minute of the day, so I don't know who's coming and going up Smead's Bench. And she said, well, what if the road's all washed out or broken up and you can't get... I said, well, turn around, come back. She said, okay, fine. Why Smead's Bench? I said, now I've been up to the top of Smead's Bench, but I came in around from the other side. I came up, and it's a beautiful view of the valley. I said, you see the river for miles. You can see the Cabinet Mountain Range to the north. It's beautiful. I said, and awesome areas up there with great outlooks. So we should go up there and just picnic and just enjoy, take in the sights. She said, okay, I get it. Okay, I need a quick sip of coffee. So we load everything up in the car. Now here's a key point. The car. Didn't have a truck at the time. Didn't have four-wheel drive at the time. All I had was a car. It was like a 1973 Ford LTD four-door. Just a family car. So we jump in the car, and off we go. Well, I get to the road that goes up to Smead's Bench, and we start down that road, and you're going through the woods. It's a nice road. I told her, I said, see, this road's not so bad. And then you come out of the timber, and then you see where it goes up the mountainside to Smead's Bench. Now, that seemed pretty exaggerated. Up the mountainside. Well, I'm not kidding. I looked up that mountainside. And the road looked good as far as I could see up there. It looked good. And she said, isn't that too steep? I said, if it was too steep, how could they put a road in there? it can't be too steep because they had to use equipment to put a road in there. So it's steep, and we got good brakes, so it's not too steep. It can't be too steep, or they couldn't have put the road there. She said, okay. She told the kids, she said, you kids, she said, you just stay quiet in the back seat. And they're just like, oh, okay. Dad's just taking us on an adventure again. Well, Sty takes off up that hill. Oh, Lordy. We're getting up there and up there and up there. We're probably about 2/3 of the way up this huge, long grade going up that bench, up to the top of Speed's bench. At least 2/3 of the way up. And I'm looking out the passenger side of the car, because that's the side where the valley is. I'm looking out the passenger side, and I'm saying to myself, this is awesome. This is the best view you're going to get in this part of the valley. And then I could hear the back tires starting to break loose and spin on the gravel. Now, this is in the middle of the summer. And I looked at my ex-wife, and her eyes are just glued up that hill. She's just looking straight up that hill. And she's got her hands just dug into the dashboard. And all of a sudden she turns and she looks at me, she goes, we're not going to make it. She no more than said that, and the back tires broke loose, and they're spinning. Now that car is sitting at such an angle, going up that hill. It finally got so steep that the car didn't have the traction anymore to push it any further. It just sat there and spun. I hit the brakes, let off on the accelerator, hit the brakes. The weight of the car, with just using the brakes, instead of having at least the back tires turning, just with the brakes, the car starts to slide backwards. Now, mind you, this road is one vehicle wide. There's only a couple of spots that we passed where you could maybe squeeze two vehicles past each other. Otherwise, that whole dang road is just one vehicle wide. Finally, the car came to a stop. And I couldn't believe how bad it was. I mean, if you just relax, your head just plastered to the headrest. The car was sitting so steep. Well, trying to hear over the kids screaming and yelling, and the wife yelling at me, we're all going to die, it's your fault, Sty, we're all going to die. I finally realized there's no getting up. Can't go any farther up. The only thing I can do is go back down. But how do I get this car turned around? And I'm looking out the side view mirror, got the window down, stuck my head out, looked as far back as I could, still holding in brakes. I looked at the ex and I said, I gotta back down. I gotta back all the way down this stinking mountain. And she goes, not with us in the car, you're not. I said, well, that's what I was going to suggest next. You and the kids should get out of the car. I said, I'd like to have you stay in the car for the weight to help me with some more traction by having extra weight in the car, but in case something happens, I don't want you in the car. So would you please get the kids out of the car and I'll back down. She said, it'll have to be all the way down, and you can meet us at the bottom, because we're not getting back in that car till it's on the bottom. So, oh, fine, okay. They get out of the car, and what does she do? She starts herding those kids down that mountain, on that road, behind the car. I start blasting the horn. She's yelling back at me, what do you want? We're heading down the mountain. And I'm yelling out the window, get in front of the car, not behind the car. I gotta back down, and if I start losing it, you guys are in the way. She comes walking up there, back up with all the kids, and she goes, make us walk all the way back up here. And she said, so hurry up and start backing down the mountain. I said, there's no hurry up about this. We've got to take it slow. I started easing off on the brake. Both her and I then realized how important it was that her and the kids did not stay behind that car. The minute that car started rolling backwards, and I started pressing the brake a little bit to keep it slow, real slow. I mean, don't register on the speedometer slow. The wheels started to break away again. This time, not just the back tires, front tires were breaking loose too. I came down that mountain backwards, pumping them brakes. I would slide with the brakes on for 10, 20 feet, and I'd ease the brakes off and roll for a while, and then hit them again, and it'd slow me down, but then they would break loose, and I'd slide for another 10, 20 feet or so, and then I'd let them off and roll again. And by the time I was getting to where the car finally held its traction, I was up to about 35 miles an hour going backwards down off of that mountain. And I looked up, and there's my spouse and my 4 kids about a half a mile up that mountain walking down. That's as far as she'll go. Yeah, after that, whenever it came to going up a gravel road that was steep, my ex would look at it and she'd go, find a different way around. You ain't going up that. You ain't going up that. And I'd have to just tell her, well, you can't get out. I'm moving too fast. And go up it and over. That was the only one I ever couldn't make it. But boy, after that, she didn't trust any hill I thought I could drive over. But that's it, boy. That was our ride up to Smead's Bench. And the rest of that day, what we did was then we went around and we came up from the other direction, which was about a 30-mile detour to come up around and come up the back. And we still had our very late afternoon picnic up on Smead's Bench. But the first attempt was pretty scary. It was pretty scary, yeah. I'm just glad that her and the kids got out of the car and Sty slid his butt back down to the bottom without actually losing his butt. But there you go. There's a Sty story for you. Hey, thanks for tagging along, folks. As always, if you haven't subscribed, punch my ugly mug. Some videos on the side here. Check them out. Give me a thumbs up. Love it. Comments. Hey, hit the comments. And until the next time, you all make sure to have a very nice day. Bye-bye.